Corey, you say if you can't answer this one question, your script will be rejected?
Yes. True story. I broke into business by selling a pitch to Ridley Scott called Metropolis when I was in film school. And then I was flown to London to work with Ridley to flesh out the story before I go to write it. So it was really crazy. I'm in film school, and then I'm on a plane flying first class, which I didn't, not only have I never flown first class, I didn't know it existed. And this is how dumb I am. They were coming by like food and alcohol, and I was like, no, because I can't afford any of that. And then when I was in London, someone was like, you don't pay for that in first class. We paid for it. And I'm like, so I ate really well on the way home. But anyway, so I'm in London, and I'm just like, my big thing is I don't want really to realize I'm a student and I don't know what I'm doing, and I just don't want to get fired the first day. I want to survive one day before I get fired. I was very freaked out. So I go into the meeting, I'm just trying to act like I belong. I don't feel like I do, but I'm trying. Ridley Scott's a hero of mine. Anyway, we come down to business, and he's like, so Metropolis, what's it about? So I give him like the plot overview, you know, like if you're flipping through your DVR and there was like a description. And he said, oh yeah. What I mean is like, what's it really about? Like at its core, what's it about? And I remember going two thoughts like, oh boy, I'm done. No one taught me this in film school. I'm not even sure what he's asking. And then the other thing is like, just look confident, because I was doing a lot of improv at the time, like look confident and give an answer. So I'm like, oh, that's what you mean. And I gave him an answer. And he's like, oh, that's interesting. But what do you think it's really about? Which was a nice way of saying, swing and a miss, kid. And I kept giving him answers, and he kept saying, what do you think it's really about? And then eventually he took mercy on me. He changed the subject to something I could do. We talked for a while, and we were done. And then we were going to meet the next day. And my plan was, first time in London, an American in London, I was going to go get into trouble and see the sights. But no, went back to my hotel room and called everyone I knew in LA, like, what's he asking me? What do I answer? I don't want to get fired. And someone was married to a professional writer, and she was nice enough to get on the phone with me and explain what Ridley was asking. And I'll get to this in a little bit. So then I had to figure out what he's asking is, at its core, what is the one thing, the unifying thing that everything is about? Now, once you know what it's about, it's your best friend and your worst enemy. So with Ridley Scott, every day I kept coming in and I knew what he was asking, but I couldn't get the answer. It's hard. And it seemed like months of torture, but it was like 5 days. And I finally said something. He's like, write that down. I'm like, okay, write that down. He goes, repeat it back to me. And I did. He goes, change this word, because precision matters. And he kept having me refine it. And he looked around the room. He goes, read it again. Looked around the room. Read it again. Looked around the room. He said, will you do me a favor and circle it? Oh, it's circled, Ridley. And he goes, that's what it's about. And I was like, wow. I just survived my first gauntlet. And everything had to be built on that. And here's why it's your worst enemy. Once we knew what it was about, we were really cruising, and we had almost the whole structure, but we could never come up with a great opening. We had okay openings, but we all felt like we didn't have an opening. And one day Ridley comes in with a skip and a step, and he's like, have you ever seen Blade Runner? So yes, I'm a fan of Blade Runner, but I didn't want to look like a weird fanboy. So I said, I've seen it a couple of times. And he said, so we had an opening that we loved, but we couldn't afford it. We were on a pretty limited budget, but for this movie, we could do it. I think with an adjustment, this is our opening. Would you be open to me telling you what this opening is like? Oh yes, Ridley, I'm open to, yes, go ahead, let's hear it. So he's pitching me this opening, I'm just writing it down, and it's brilliant. It's so good. And I have chills, because I'm like, my name's going on this script, and people are going to think I figured this out, but I didn't. This is just such a great opening. Why didn't I think of this? And then he's almost done, and he goes, oh, dang it. Now we can't use it. I'm like, what? We can't use it? What do you mean we can't use it? We can't use it. I'm like, really, this is awesome. He goes, yeah, but it's not connected to the what's it about. And I wanted to say, F the what's it about, but he had artistic integrity, like everything. So when you don't know what your story is about, you're just groping in the darkness trying to figure out what your story is and what belongs or what doesn't. Once you know what it's about, you're going downhill in sunlight and the light is just in the breeze, and that's great. But then you're going to be tested because you're going to have some problem with your script, something you're stuck with, and you're going to finally have a great solution, but doesn't connect to what it's about. And then the question is, do you have artistic integrity or not? So it's your best friend and it's your worst enemy.